It would be an understatement to say our nation is long past the boiling point when it comes to justice for all being enforced for people within our country. If you don't believe me, we can simply recount instances of racial injustice experienced across the board in recent memory. We were confronted by the live video murders of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, attacks against Asian Americans after the onset of COVID-19, and the separation of children from their parents at the border of Mexico and Texas. Not to mention ongoing voter suppression among Native Americans or the popular assertion that all white people are racist by some non-white individuals. Every single instance is an injustice. If a legal definition of justice can be conveyed as a scheme or system of law in which every person receives his, her, or its due from the system, including all rights, both natural and legal, it's painfully obvious we need to do something to see more justice. Why justice? Why advocacy? Justice is important to God, and He wants it to be important to those who follow Him. Proverbs 28:5 says, "Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it completely." Assuming you seek the Lord like I do because you're listening, the Bible conveys that followers of Christ understand justice, and more importantly, implies that we are to engage and execute justice. We are defined by what we practice, not what we perceive. Therefore, the evidence of complete understanding is the incorporation of that knowledge into everyday life. If followers of Christ don't advocate for the type of authentic justice that reflects God's definition of justice, who will? I want to leave you with some practical takeaways, so here are 4 steps I want you to consider from our time together. Number 1, seek justice the right way. God is concerned with how we secure justice for ourselves and others, so we have to spend time with Him toward knowing how to go about this pursuit. If you haven't spent time in the Bible, speaking with other followers of Christ who have experience in areas of social justice, praying to God for direction, and listening to the voice of the Spirit before you decide to pursue justice, you will end up missing out on the type of justice God wants to use you to bring to the world. Number 2, get involved. God has given you a passion or the opportunity to pursue justice in your life. You might be thinking about the obstacles, too little time, your children, your experience, no money, or something else. But you have to know that whatever you do have, there is a space that needs you. Whether you serve on a board or commission in your city, run for political office at the local, state, or national level, or give your time and talents to a school district or other youth-serving entity, all of these groups need followers of Christ to be present and actively involved toward ensuring justice is pursued. 3, use your influence. Every follower of Christ is under a spotlight because those who do not follow Christ or at a different stage in their journey with Christ need to hear your relevant perspective and practical guide to living a life marked by justice. You need to have conversations in person, via email or text, in digital formats, or any other way that stimulate others to discern the justice that God seeks all of us to live out in all of our lives when possible. Someone is watching and waiting for you to give clarity, meaning, or even permission to what God is stirring in their heart about justice. So make sure you don't miss the opportunity to challenge or grow someone within your sphere of influence regarding the hot button or everyday issues of life. Finally, number 4, commit for the long term. Pursuing justice is not a swift battle, but rather a steady war that is waged in our lives. In light of it most often not being achieved quickly, we have to come to terms with the reality that intentionality and perseverance must become our friends if we are ever going to see the change we desire. Whether you find a role you can hold for years, or you find yourself adapting to a new role every year in your pursuit of justice, know that as long as you keep the end goal of achieving justice God's way in sight, you will be in a role that pleases God and allows others to see what His justice looks like in this life. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope God blesses the steps you take to make His justice a reality in your own life and in the lives of those around you.